What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Sunday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great weekend. It's been a beautiful yet hot weekend. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up? What's up? What's up? I know it's been a minute. If you've been paying attention to my lives, you know why. But we're not going to talk about that today. Today, we are going to the USA. I told you I was going to start talking about most dangerous prisons from around the world. And I am today going to start in the Alabama correctional system. And it seems to be a crazy system across the board. I mean, there's been 75 murders in the Alabama correctional state prison system since 2016. Like, it's crazy what's going on there, but that's not all that's going on there. There's a whole lot more. But before I tell you about it, this man's going to tell you about it first.
I would like to make a plea to anybody that hears under the sound of my voice. The help us inmates need in the Alabama Department of Corrections is more than unreal, more than unrealistic. If I begin to tell you about certain forms of brutality, death, beatings, brutalizations, inhumane, deplorable treatment of certain staff members in dealing with inmates, and the courage they have when they do it, it's unreal. The boldness they have when they do it, the protection that their supervisors give them when they do it, when they kill an inmate and they try to correct paperwork and justify certain actions by staff members or guards, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And when you've been doing something so long, like correctional officers in the state of Alabama, it's hard to break a practice. I heard Kay Ivey, our governor, say that the feds don't need to get in her business. Well, the DOC is out of control. It's beyond repair, and evidently she doesn't realize it. The last two homicides, just the last two, there's been many in the last 36 months, but just the last two this year at one prison, William E. Donaldson Prison, where they use what's called a modern day form of corporal punishment. They beat inmates into submission. They kill inmates. Two have got killed this year alone. Victor Russo and his other brother that just got killed, which is a mental health patient, a person suffering from mental illness, who stuck his head through a tray slot door where they feed. Stuck his head through and yelled at the officer, and the officer turned his door through the cubicle operating system and rolled the door while his head was stuck in the tray door and he couldn't pull it back. And it choked him to death, and he died, and he hollered, he screamed unmercifully at the time of his death. This is unreal. What kind of inhumane human being, better yet, a correctional officer? We'd expect certain heinous crimes to be committed by inmates. What kind of inhumane act would be carried out by a correctional guard? Attention, the DOC is the ADOC, Alabama Department of Correction, is broken. The death rate just this year alone, 16 deaths. That's counting combined murders and overdoses. Last year alone, 20 deaths at one facility, William E. Donaldson, where the two homicides just occurred this year. We need help. We need immediate help. It's very urgent, and it's no time to waste. Inmates are dying, and they are dying through brutalized.
Now that you've seen that, you understand what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to get a little deep into this, because in Canada, we're blessed. After watching some videos on other prisons from around the world, we're blessed. Not because we're doing time, because it's horrible to do time anywhere. But some of the treatment and the conditions in some of these prisons is just it's unbelievable that it even flies under the radar. So Donaldson Prison, aka William Donaldson Prison, is a correctional facility, 100 Warrior Avenue. On 100 Warrior Avenue in Bessemer, Alabama. It is a maximum security population with an average population of 1,620 guys, even though the jail's really only built to hold between 12 and 1,400 inmates. Now, it is run by 260 staff on average, but can get low to like 200. And when you think about it, that's not a lot of officers, considering these are the absolute worst criminals from Alabama. Now, what makes this prison special, right, and horrific is just the corruption and the darkness that follows it. Now, it was originally built as Jefferson Correctional, and was changed and built in 1982, and the year I was born, of course. I'm an 82 baby, which is nuts, but it was built in 1982, and they changed the name in 1990 in honor of an officer who was stabbed to death by an inmate, and that is not a rare occurrence in this prison, as are overdoses, suicides, officers murdering inmates, neglect and mistreatment, and a whole bunch of crazy, crazy stuff that we're going to get into. But this prison has a seg unit of 300 beds. Just think about that. Some of the prisons in this province don't have 300 beds. Imagine being in a prison that the seg unit holds up to 300 people, and this is harsh segregation. Like, we know about Alabama, how they are as a state, how their, background is, especially towards minority inmates, I'm sure. And I don't think the treatment's probably pretty nice after what I've read about this place. And this is not a new issue. Like, the warnings were going up from 2015, 2016, where there was 50 violent beatings, violent homicides, overdoses, suicide, and correctional cover-ups. I'm telling you, it was crazy. In that year, there was an officer charged for raping a gay inmate, and allegedly, the warden is putting out hits of grapes and robberies and all kinds of other crazy things, which just blew my mind. This warden, I think her name is Angela Myrie, allegedly she's been involved in all this stuff. But how can all this stuff go on under your nose without you seeing it? Now, this prison believes in like corporal punishment. Like, the time is not the only punishment. We are also going to punish you while you are here ourselves, and we're going to do it rough. I don't know if it's hard labor, if it's just being locked down a lot, if it's the constant disrespect from the guards. I have no idea what exactly it is that makes it so horrendous, but I'm sure it's a combination of all of the above. It has come under scrutiny recently because of 7 deaths within, or was it 7 deaths? Yeah, 7 people died within a 7-day span. Now, they're not all murders. A lot of them are natural causes. But from what I've read, there have been a lot of cover-ups by staff and a lot of murders that weren't reported. Like, they'd be reported as being in the infirmary and dying of natural causes, when really they're like shanked in their head and they died from like a fractured skull and bleeding of the brain. And that's the kind of stuff that I read, like literally across the board. Now, this is the COs treating the inmates badly, and we also have a very violent inmate population, and some of the stuff I read is crazy. Guys calling people's parents, getting them on the phone and telling a mother that if they don't send this amount of money, they're going to grape their son to oblivion. And if he tells any staff members Then they're gonna not only grape them more, then they're gonna kill them after, and nobody's gonna do anything. And that's a reality, it seems like, in this prison. It seems like the staff really don't give a damn what goes on. They see the inmates as monsters or animals, and they enjoy or get a kick out of seeing the inmate on inmate violence. This year alone, there's been 5 murders at Donaldson Prison. This guy named Gardner was stabbed to death on February 22nd. I don't remember his first name. Sorry, I forgot to write it down. But he was brutally stabbed to death. 2 days later, Victor Russo, as you heard in that video I played, was killed by a CO who was charged for it. Apparently, he had stuck his head into the tray slot. And when they opened the door, it like strangled him and crushed his head. It said he died from blunt force trauma. You don't get that in a prison where the guards treat the inmates with any kind of decency or respect. And I haven't personally done time like that. Of course, all officers, not all, but most officers, have the ability to treat you like crap. But this is next level stuff, like graping inmates, murdering inmates time and time and time again, and covering up the paperwork and making stuff disappear so that you can't get charged for it. That is a scary life. If you're sentenced to life there, which many of those inmates are, that is a terrifying and horrifying experience. And the inmates don't make it any easier on themselves. And one thing I don't get, which is abundant in these prisons, is booty bandits, man. I don't understand it. It is weird to me. You are doing time yourself, right? You may be in a situation where you have the upper hand, maybe you have friends, maybe you're stronger or whatever. But you could be in a situation where you're on the other end of this. What would ever tell you that this is a good idea? Are all these guys that are doing this stuff in prison gay when they come in? Or is this like gay for the stay kind of stuff? I don't get it. I don't even think it's always like a sexual thing. I think a lot of the time it is like a domination and trying to bitch somebody down thing. And it's weird to me. Anybody who supports that is a weirdo. And I support better conditions for these inmates because clearly that is needed at this prison. But like, you can't be graping each other. It's fucking creepy, dude. So Victor Russo was killed on February 24th. On March 3rd, just 7 days later, William Jennings was found in his 2-man cell, beaten to death, death indicated by blunt force trauma. On June 15th, Mitchell Cosby was stabbed to death in a dormitory setting, which is terrifying. Just think about this. You go into a dorm in a maximum security prison. Like, you are going in with the worst of the worst in a hella crazy state, right? A lot of crazy gang politics, a lot of homicides. Like, it's a crazy state. You go into a maximum security prison and you are thrown into a pack of wolves. And this pack could consist of probably like 50 to 100 guys. Now imagine these guys are your ops and the guards, they believe in corporal punishment and get a kick out of seeing you get hurt. You think they're going to help you, or you think you are going to be tortured? And guess what? There's reports of people being tortured and raped for days and days by multiple people. Crazy to me, man. And then there was another dude killed. I can't remember exactly what killed him. His name was Sloan, was his last name. And that's 5 murders in 2022. And this is not a new issue, but this seems to be an issue that's getting worse and worse and worse. And to me, you can't really look at anything other than neglect. When you have problems like this, where you clearly have overpopulated and understaffed prisons, you can't just let it continue to happen. Like, I've seen videos from Lee Correctional in South Carolina and all these prisons where it's like, People are literally being butchered on video and nobody's doing anything about it. Guys are just killed off K2, just doomed, dead on the floor. Like, the stuff that's happening is crazy. And then on top of that, you have fentanyl issues and suicide and mental health. I couldn't imagine doing time in a prison like this. And I know me personally, although I will stand up for myself, what would I do in a prison like this? They probably hate a white boy in a prison like this. To me, that is the idea of hell, man. Hell. Now, obviously, the message of all of my videos is not to go to prison, right? Prison is never cool, it's never fun, and it is always a risk, no matter which prison you go to. Now, if you get arrested in Alabama and you're not charged with murder, you're not necessarily going to just end up in Donaldson, right? But if you have a bad attitude, bad behavior, you get into fights and violence, which in this state seems like it's unavoidable because of the staffing issues and the just neglect from management, right? So then they force you up the ladder into the hamster wheel where you end up not being able to get out of prison because you end up killing somebody or getting killed because you have to. There at one point was a murder rate in Donaldson prison of 59 murders out of every 100,000. That is a higher murder rate than St. Louis, which has the highest murder rate in the US at something like 33 or 35 out of every 100,000. Like, that is insane. That is living in the trenches for the rest of your life. We have to get eyes on this, right? It's not fair that people have to live like this. I don't care what your crime is. I don't. You shouldn't have to go to prison and worry about being murdered by the feds, being raped by the feds, having the warden put out hits on you because she don't like you. That is crazy. And the fact that nobody's doing anything about it is even crazier to me. So we have to show this video, show it around, share it with people, spread it around, get the word out, because if eyes don't get on it, and if the public doesn't start outcrying, then nothing's going to happen. These are people. I don't care about what crimes they did. I don't. These people are becoming more and more and more dangerous. And not all of those people are lifers. So all you're doing is creating more dangerous people, more fucked up people that have just been traumatized over and over and over again back out into society. What do you think they're going to do? And the answer is not to lock them up more. It's to lock them up less. Offer rehabilitation. Offer psychology for trauma and PTSD. Make up programs where you can create jobs and give inmates trade skills so they can get out to something where they can make a real living, where they don't have to imagine working at Burger King or whatever and scraping by making minimum wage. Show them opportunity. Give them a chance to change, and you won't have this hellhole. They call it the house of pain for a reason, because it's painful being there. Clearly, mentally, physically, spiritually. Like, the survival rate coming out of there is not good. If you're doing a long stretch of time, it is not good. I realized about it from Honeycomb Brazy. He's a rapper that I listen to, and he got arrested on a parole violation and has to do 12 years or something like that there. And he is speaking out constantly about not coming home. Doesn't look like he's going to make it because it's so crazy in there. And it's just constant sabotage from the feds, violence, abuse. You don't want to go to prison. And in Canada, sure, it's not this. It isn't. But it is still prison, and it is still a risk to your life, your safety, your health. You can still get killed. And I'm sure, even though it's not allowed, and you'll get killed for doing it, you could still get raped. Like, let's be real. It is prison. Not meant to be fun, but the punishment is losing your freedom. You then shouldn't have to fight for your life to live there. And when I read reports about this prison, all the deaths, natural causes, infirmary, natural causes, terminal illness, natural causes. And they found that 30 separate cases were doctored and that they weren't the actual cause of death. Like, that is terrifying. Spread the word. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you don't have to go through these things yourselves. I never have to go to this prison, right? And if you're from Canada, you don't either. If you're from Alabama, though, you do. And that this video should be enough to tell you, do not go to prison. There is nothing scarier to me than having to go live somewhere where not only are you under the constant threat of inmate on inmate violence, where I saw a fucking picture of a sword that dude got caught with, where the guards don't care, aren't going to intervene, don't give a damn. You're going to be dead, lay there and pile of piss and water or whatever the hell, nobody caring about you, right? They're going to doctor up your paperwork, right? That's terrifying. Not only do you have to worry about that, though, you have to worry about the feds, the rotten food, and the warden sending hits out at you. That is torture. And that shouldn't be allowed. No matter what a person is in prison for. Just kill him. If it's that bad, if he deserves punishment that bad, just kill the dude. Don't torture them for 30 years. Like, damn. You're just making monsters. That's it. And the ones that can actually find their way out of the system, they're going to be smart monsters. And it's going to be your fault. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos and will be in the description of this video. Go watch other stuff about Donaldson, Alabama, educate yourself, and just try to spread the word. Like, I can't do anything. I can't get into the U.S. There's nothing I could do. But I can spread the word. And shout out to Honeycomb Brazy, man. You come out of there with a positive mindset. You're that dude. Love each and every one of you. The New Mac.